Hey, welcome back. Today is Pink Shirt Day, an annual event against bullying, and one area where bullying and toxicity is prevalent. It's not just in schools, but it's also in the workplace. So joining us live this morning to talk more about this is Neskens Jr. Darcelis, who is an anti-bullying trainer and personal development speaker who is dedicated to fostering non-toxic environments in schools and professional workplaces throughout Canada.
Yes, thank you for being here. Thank you for spreading kindness. I feel like we need this in the world right now. Must be a busy day for you today.
It is. It is. 3 school presentation in Etobicoke and then corporate in the afternoon. But we're doing what we love and creating a better culture for people. So it's great.
Mm-hmm. I know sometimes we focus on kids, which is really important because you kind of catch them young and they grow up with these great, senses of inclusivity and kindness. But it's really across the spectrum for everyone,
100%.
Right? So is it a similar message you give to both kids and adults?
Well, when we go to the workplace environment, it changes because many times something may not be bullying, but it is still toxic. So addressing the toxicity is extremely important. And in doing that, one of the key things is understanding the impact. One of the impact of it is shame. And please understand, shame and guilt are not the same thing. Guilt is the understanding that we have done something wrong. Shame is the constant belief that something is wrong with me. And if something is wrong with me, I cannot do nothing right. And when we have professionals that constantly believe because of their environment something is wrong with them, they do not operate to the best of their ability. So addressing the core of that is extremely important in building confidence in the workplace.
I love that distinction between shame and guilt. Very important. Now, when we talk about professional workplaces these days, with all the diversity that we're seeing in the world, conversations can be difficult, political, religious. But, you also talked about it might not be blatant bullying, but toxic.
100%.
So we have microaggressions. What are other examples of a toxic workplace?
Well, there's many. So, the professional scholars always say there's 4 types of it. So number 1, there is constant critic, the person that criticizes you publicly as a way to create shame. The second one is what we call the 2-headed snake. It's the person that behave one way in front of you and behind you they behave another way. And the other one is the screaming Mimi, the person that used their verbal aggression as a way to continue to belittle you and make sure that you feel invisible. So there are a couple ways that we address this to make it more productive. So if I can break that down.
Yes, please do. That would have been my next question.
The first one I like to do is clearing the mud. The mud is an analogy that addresses the importance, how I like to say it, a messy situation. Because often when something is messy, we don't want to address it. We want to walk away from it. But working away from it doesn't solve the problem.
No.
So addressing it and providing the tool for how we do it is extremely important. And in that tools is helping the people to see sometimes intention doesn't always create impact. We often believe, especially leaders, that because I got good intention, that automatically means I'm making a great impact, but that's not always the key. And the second aspect is feedback. How do we provide effective feedback in addressing the sensitive topic? And the last one is resilient in the workplace. Resilient is where I use the tools of emotional intelligence, understanding one's emotion, but the emotions of those around us, so that we have a better way of responding, because the truth is our long-term suffering doesn't always come based on what happened. It's based on how we respond to the situation we can control. And my story is clear for that. I was born and raised in Haiti, one of the poorest countries in the world. I grew up in a divided home, lost my mother at 11 years old, experienced bullying throughout my whole life, immigrated to Canada, faced countless of racism situations. I've been humiliated, embarrassed, rejected more than I can count. But me being here with you is a clear example. It's not what happened, but it's how we respond to it.
Exactly.
So you're instilling confidence over shame in those that are being bullied, and at the same time addressing the way people are. And what's the response to people right away? Sometimes it takes time to change behavior, right?
Sometimes it takes time. But, one of the key things I like to say as well for the people, the person that is dealing with it, is the ability to let it go. Because that is very key. And if that could be, a word of encouragement today, we have to understand that not everybody in our lives will have a taste for who we are. And that is the beauty for me about life. It's the ability to discover and move forward to discover who has a taste for us. And many times people are burned down with that. They carry a lot of burden because they have people that don't have a taste for them. So my word on encouragement is always learn to let it go, learn to move forward, learn to accept the fact that things will happen out of your control, and we should not try to control everybody. Can I illustrate this real quick
Yes,
for you?
Sure.
yes.
So
I
one
know
of
you
the
have an
active
example.
way, one of the simple ways I like to tell people to learn to let things go is to take a sheet of paper, write down the situation, what happened, the situation in itself, write it down in details, and second, write the emotion, what happened, how that made me feel, read it once or twice, and burn the paper.
Burn
It is
the paper.
very simple,
I love
but it will
it.
help us to walk away
Yeah.
and actually debrief the situation.
And this is your advice for people, because let's face it, jobs are not easy to come by these days.
Yeah.
Let's say you're in a workplace. It's toxic.
Yeah.
You can't go to HR because maybe you're scared or whatever.
Management.
Yeah, management, maybe HR is being toxic. And so this is your advice to how you can reframe that programming in your own mind
Yep.
to digest it differently and move on.
100%,
Yeah.
because my work is, the traditional way on how we've been doing it for the workplace has
the
not worked.
corporate model.
The
Yeah,
corporate
yeah.
model, everybody's just taking the,
Classes.
classes and clicking next until
yeah.
they walk away from
Yeah.
it. That has not worked.
Okay.
So my session is interactive and also introspective, bringing
Yeah.
people together, but also
Wow.
getting understanding on what is my behavior's impact in someone else's life.
You are such a good speaker. You are doing
are.
such great work. We really appreciate you
Thank
being
you
here.
for having
And while
me.
the mantra we should be telling ourselves is let it go, we don't want to let you go, but we have to
Yes.
right now.
Thank you so
Neskens
much.
Jr. Darcelis, thank you so much.
Thank you
Good
for
luck with
having
today.
me.
I know it's a busy one.
Yeah.
Appreciate your time and your insight. Very powerful.
Thank
make
you.
this
Thank
world
you.
a
Bye-bye,
kinder place.
everybody.
Yeah, thank